afternoon, everyone. We wanted to welcome you to our Los Angeles, it's really not a press conference, more of a media lunch. Wanted to wish everyone a Happy New Year. Hopefully everyone is ready for a big year for Gennady here in 2015. We wanted to, actually before I start the press conference, I just want to recognize the passing of Vitaly Klitschko's trainer, Fritz Stunek. Unfortunately, he passed away just a couple of weeks ago. His memorial service will be on Saturday in Germany, and it's unfortunate. If you remember the fights at Staples Center, the three memorable fights that Vitaly had there against Lennox Lewis, Chris Arreola, Corey Sanders, and Fritz was a big part of all three of those fights. So it's with a sad heart that he's not with us anymore. But just wanted to get into why we call this the media lunch. A lot of it is it's a fight in Monte Carlo, February 21st against Martin Murray. But really, it's also to thank everyone here, the support of the Los Angeles media and the media in general that's supported Gennady and Abel and myself and HBO to make his career as successful as it's been so far. We couldn't have had the results that we had at the StubHub Center and the attendance that we had without your support, so we're really appreciative of that. And also the numerous awards that Gennady and Abel had received over the last year for Fight of the Year, Trainer of the Year. I even got a couple of awards for Promoter of the Year, so we appreciate your support on that. And Gennady wouldn't be where he is right now without the support of HBO. I want to introduce Ray Stallone, who's HBO's just been an integral part of launching Gennady's career here in the United States. When Gennady signed his contract, part of my promise was to make him star over here in the United States to develop his career. And since he made his HBO debut in 2012, this will be, this is the seventh fight now on HBO, and it's really gone very quickly. He had the Prospect fight in 2012, then he had 4 fights in 2013, 3 fights in 2014, all by knockout. I think Gennady now is the only champion that has 18 knockouts in a row, which is tremendous. With HBO support now, the excuse of people don't want to fight Gennady because he's too high risk without a financial reward is kind of out the window. With his ticket sales and HBO's financial support, his opponents are clearly the highest paid middleweights, or opponents in the middleweight division. So we have to give a lot of credit to Martin Murray. He accepted the challenge. He's the #1 rated boxer in the WBC, rated across the board, very dangerous, big middleweight. Fought Sergio Martinez, which many people thought he won that fight, dropped Sergio in Argentina. And it's, like Ray said, it's an event. We're very thankful that HBO is broadcasting it over here, but it's really a worldwide event. It's prime time in Europe and throughout the former CIS countries, and that's part of our strategy, is building Gennady as a global brand. And so we have to offset, his priority is definitely establishing himself over here in the United States as a star, but also globally as a star. So before I get into introducing Abel and Gennady, I wanted to recognize a couple more people in the room with us today. One of Abel's other proteges is Murat Gaziev. Murat's a tremendous fighter, and he's at the summit with Abel and sees the work ethic that Gennady has, and I think Gennady kind of rubs off on everyone else up there at the training camp. So he's a tremendous talent, and I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot more of him, especially with Abel as his trainer in the days and the years to come. what is he, 18-0 now? 19-0, and also very, very big puncher. And then also, more on a personal note, someone has been with me the entire time that I've been promoting fights is Erica St. Philip. Erica started with our first event in 2004 against Corey Sanders at Staples Center, and it's been over 10 years now, and I wouldn't be where I am without her help, and she's really the right-hand person for myself, so I just want to recognize her. Getting back to the event and the game plan, I mean, a lot of people always ask me, what are the plans for Gennady? And Abel and Gennady are always focused on the event at hand. Coming up, February 21 is going to be here before you know it. Abel always comes up with the right game plan to have Gennady at his best, and always putting on a big drama show in the ring. And so I'd like to recognize someone who's been doing this a long time, in our view, Trainer of the Year for what he's accomplished. He's now another year for 3 knockouts in a row with Gennady, but also developing a lot of other fighters that he has up at the summit. Is Abel Sanchez.
Thank you for showing up. I see a lot of old friends here. Sure, it's nice to be in LA again. A lot of new friends too. It has been a great ride with Gennady. 2014, a little interruption, but it was a good year for us. 2015, I think it's going to get to the point where these guys stop making the excuses that they've been making and get somebody in the ring with Gennady that will not only prove to me, but prove to everybody else that he is what I've been saying he is. We started training camp 2 weeks ago. Martin Murray, to me, is a very, very good challenge. I mean, he's a guy that's gone 12 rounds with 2 elite fighters, Sturm and Martinez. So we're looking for a very hard fight, but if Gennady performs like he has been performing, we should be in for a great night. Thank you.
What can I say about Gennady that that we haven't said before? He's clearly, in our opinion, was the fighter of the year. I know there was a lot of debate on who it was, but when he's the fan favorite, when he wins all the fan polls as to who they thought was fighter of the year, I think that makes the biggest statement. Gennady brings new fans to the sport. Fans that came to see him fight Gil in Madison Square Garden, and fans that came to see him fight Rubio here in StubHub. I got a lot of reaction that said that it was the first time they've ever seen a live boxing event. So that's what I think Gennady, it's not only the responsibility he has for his career, for his country, for his family, but also for the sport of boxing. He carries it as an ambassador. He's actually growing the sport of boxing, and that's what we're really excited about, and for the future for his career. So with that being said, most dangerous man on the planet with the highest knockout percentage of any active champion, is Gennady Triple G.
First, I would like to thank everything coming here. The support very important for me, for my career, for my fights last year. I had 3 fights last year. I was happy with my performance, with my team. I had last year. I had good experiences last year. Monaco, Madison Square Garden, second, and StubHub Center. It was a good time for me, and the trip to Mexico City, to London, to be my new WBC belt. I had a great time. I think this year is maybe the same, maybe better. I hope so. I'm training hard. My focus on Murray now. I think Martin Murray, he will be one of my biggest challenges of my career. He's strong guy, he big guy. But I will be ready for him and for everyone. I think great idea for European style, for Mexican or for Monaco, and big present for everybody. Thank you very much for my fans. Thank you very much for everybody. Thank you.
This is actually the 5th press conference we've had for this upcoming event on February 21. 5 press conferences in 5 different countries. I think that's unprecedented. So we're really doing everything on our side that we can to build Gennady's career, and he delivers every time he gets in the ring. So it's been working out great, and we wanted to end the world tour here in Los Angeles, where Gennady is a resident now of Los Angeles, and I think you'll find a lot more fights taking place here in the city of Angels. So with that being said, we can open up. Brandy, do you want to recognize the people?
If you raise your hand, you'll be recognized. It's gotten a lot colder. Is it better for him under these type of conditions to train? Do you feel like that's
First of all, the reason I have to leave is not because I don't want to be with you guys. It's Murat Gassiev is going to spar at 2:30 in another part of town. This is a very important press conference for us, but as Gennady understands, Gassiev has to get that sparring. The weather has changed in Big Bear, but Gennady comes from a climate and from a region that's a heck of a lot colder than we've ever seen. So I don't think it's gonna bother him. He's used to the weather, so he likes running in the snow. He likes running in the summertime. He's just an athlete that just likes to work. He just wants to stay busy, and he'll deal with whatever consequence or circumstances there is at the particular time he's in camp. So there shouldn't be any reason why he's not going to be as prepared as he was in the summertime.
Robert, go ahead.
Abel, can you just share with us what challenges Martin Murray creates for you guys?
Martin Murray is a guy that's gone 12 rounds with Felix Sturm and got a draw in Germany, which to us tells us that maybe he won that fight, and 12 rounds with Martinez in front of 40,000 Argentinians, which again, I think he won the fight. He's a big guy. He's a guy that maybe doesn't have the punching power that Gennady does, but he's a durable, formidable opponent that's got, what, 30 wins, I think, and just that one loss. So he's a guy that I know has been at that level for a long time, and is not going to be scared of anything that Gennady comes at him with. So if he comes to fight, if he comes to actually win, then I think that it's going to take a little while to get him out of there. But if he decides to put his earmuffs on, as I've seen him doing some fights, he may get beat to the body and be a quick night.
Greg, go ahead.
Abel, how can Gennady improve this year? What are you working on?
You know, we try to take each training camp, and at the beginning of training camp, he and I discuss a couple of things that I want to work on different than we did in the previous training camp, just so that every training camp doesn't become a monotony. It becomes something that we're trying to work on certain facets so that when he does get to the so-called elite fighters, we've practiced about everything that we need to practice to be able to beat them. I'm not going to divulge what it is that we were practicing on this one, but for the last one was trying to go to the body. We thought we were going to fight Chavez originally for the last one, so we're trying to work on blocking the body shot and countering it, and we're making sure that Chavez understood that there was something coming back at him. So for this one's a little bit different because Martin Murray is a different kind of fighter, but we are working on different things for this training camp.
Alan, in the back.
Abel, you've talked about this since you started working with Gennady. A lot of times in boxing we think it's just trainer's height. But it's hard to define, but can you tell us why you think this guy's a step above all the other hundreds of fighters that you've worked with and you've seen? What, if you could put your finger on it, what makes him that extra dimension?
Or three and a half years ago, I sent an email to Robert Morales telling him that I had the next big thing in boxing in my gym. And Robert answered me like, yeah, like you would do most trainers. Yeah, sure.
Like I did?
Yeah, like you did. You know, I've had two very intelligent fighters in my career. One was Orlin Norris, who couldn't punch, and the other one's Gennady Golovkin. Two intelligent fighters that are very skilled, that are going to make you make the mistakes that they want you to make, and then capitalize on them. that is one of his biggest assets. The other one is he continues to work in the gym to perfect the things that we are trying to do. The foot movement and the cutting off the ring that people keep talking about, that's not something that, you know, he doesn't practice. He practices that every day. In order to get better and to make sure that we can deal with the guys, the elite guys, the so-called elite guys, that's even gonna have to get better. So it's just a matter of not getting complacent and making sure that we don't forget anything that we practiced in the past and continue to practice it and continue to improve.
Igor?
Abel, so I remember that time about 3.5 years ago, you invited us to go up to Big Bear. So my question to you is, how soon did you know that you had a special fighter on your hands?
I knew the first day that I caught him on the mitts. It very seldom, I've been fortunate enough, first of all, I've been fortunate enough to catch Ricardo Lopez, Trinidad, Samuel Peter, some of the big, so-called big punchers. And when I first caught Gennady on the mitts, I felt it all the way down to my toes. And you know, my brain lights up, my eyes light up, everything like, and then as you start working with him, not only does he have the power, but he has the intelligence and he has the ability to do exactly what you want him to do and to practice the things that you want him to do. I told him that it would take 3 years. I think it took 3 years to get to the point where we had a title shot. I told him that it would take 3 years and I would make him the best middleweight in the world and the most avoided middleweight in the world, and I think we've done that. Now it's just a matter of not getting complacent, like I said, and just continue to evolve and continue to improve and continue to make sure that we give the fans, because I believe it's our responsibility to give the fans what they want, what they pay their hard-earned money to see.
Michael?
Abel, Murray's one of the taller opponents Gennady's faced. I believe he's about 6 feet tall. He actually has a longer reach than Gennady. Does that change the strategy as far as how you're going to fight the fight?
No, because Gennady will cut him down to 5'10". I think that I've never been the kind of coach that's going to adapt to somebody. They're going to have to adapt to us. They're going to have to adapt to us and make sure that they have enough ability or enough in their tank or enough gumption to be able to handle what Gennady's going to come at him with. Once Gennady hits him with one shot, he'll be, like I said, back down to 5'10".
You said so-called A-listers, and you also said so-called punchers, like during this press conference. Do you think, like right now, with the way that Gennady has performed, that maybe he's starting to outshine like these so-called A-listers, and maybe the questions need to change?
Well, I think he has outshined them, but I've said in the past that it's up to you folks to shame them or to ask the questions that you're asking me. Ask them why not. Ask Peter why not. If Peter says that he's not known, just read him the numbers. Freddie says that he's never seen Golovkin. Freddie's smarter than me. I know Freddie's seen Golovkin. And Freddie says that he's not known enough. Freddie's been around too long to say those things. But you folks need to make sure that when May comes along and he fights somebody, Cotto fights somebody, and wins, if he wins, that you ask him why they're not doing what the WBC ordered. Why are they different if they choose not to? And if he chooses to go down to 154, that's okay with us too. The fact is that Gennady wants to be the best at 160 and wants to have all the belts, and if Cotto doesn't want to fight him, that's okay. We'll fight somebody else for that belt. But the A-listers have to be asked those questions and be put on notice that this kid is here to stay and this kid is the best middleweight in the world, and if he's not, then prove it.
So do you think that we haven't been pressing enough for that, or we haven't something on the spot?
You're pressing, but you're not saying, okay, when Peter talks about there's not enough draw in him, okay, well, just all you have to do is just mention the fact that he sold out StubHub, and I think that they went up 3 or 4 times in the seating, and does very well on HBO, and Ray can attest to that. What did 8,500 or 8,400 in New York? So every arena that he goes to, he's selling out. What does he have to do? Sell at Dodger Stadium before he's a draw?
Hey, well, I gotta ask you this. Can you describe a phone call where you call another trainer and say, hey, I need sparring for Genna? How does that work?
Actually, we got a lot of volunteers, believe it or not. Really? Tom's called me about 3 or 4 names. And I think the reason that they're volunteering is because they know that Gennady is not abusive. They know that Gennady is not going to try to take advantage of them. They know that Gennady is going to work with them and teach them, because of the other guys that have come before them. And you can talk to any sparring partner that has ever been in our camp. Gennady's the first to sit back after the sparring session and kind of explain to you why you got hit with a particular punch, why he's doing this to you, why you need to change. He's willing to teach so that these guys get better, and in turn Gennady gets better.
Next one.
Abel, you know, we talked about him being the best middleweight right now. When you look at the landscape, is there anybody that even is a threat to Gennady at this point? Who would that fighter be if you see him now?
I think that there's 3 or 4 guys that are a threat, but they have to get in the ring so we can find out. I think that Cotto is a threat because he's a champion and he's got a long storied career. He's a Hall of Famer. I think Canelo's a threat because he's young and he's strong. He's proven that he can deal with the big names like he did with Mayweather. May not have won, but he dealt with them. I think that Frach is a formidable challenge. I think that Julio's a big challenge. I think that Andre, if he ever gets all that stuff taken care of with his promoters and Tom and the people who come together for a fight, I think they're all a challenge. I'm just as anxious and excited about finding out whether he is the real thing. Maybe he's not.
The last 3 names you named are actually 168-pounders. Let's say the first half of 2015 goes how you guys plan. You guys get past Murray, the winner of Cotto, whoever he faces, fights Golovkin, Golovkin fights that, and no middleweights want to come up to the table. A move up to 168 seems...
You know, I'm very fortunate that I don't have that headache. That's Tom's headache. I have to worry about the next guy that they put in front of us and we agree to. And if it's a 168-pounder, then we'll deal with it then. But I think Tom and the Herman brothers are the guys that those questions should be directed at, because I do my job and they do theirs. I think that's why this team works, why this has gone as long as it has and so successful, because in such a short time, it's because, like I said, I do my job and Tom does his.
Hey, well, if you had to choose, if you can't get the big names at 160, and you had to choose between going to 68 or maybe collecting some other titles at 160 against an Andy Lee or somebody like that, which would you rather have, if you had your say?
I've always said that for me, the fight that I've always wanted to see was Julio Chavez Jr. against Gennady. And the reason being is back in 1991, the kid that I had, Terry Norris, was offered a fight against his dad, Julio Sr., and he backed out of the fight. So I would like to see that fight, and I think the 2 styles will really mesh really well. And Julio being as big as he's going to be by the time fight time comes, and having the chin that his daddy gave him from birth, would make for a 12-round memorable fight.
Please do that in LA, if you do it.
Please. Talk to Tom here.
Please, Tom, please.
Anyone else?
Thank you very much. I have to leave. Have a great day.
Thanks, Abel. Thank you.
And if there's any other questions for Gennady or for myself on the business side, emotional side, we'd be happy to, and then we'll break down into one-on-ones.
Tom, who would you want to see Gennady fight after Murray?
You know, honestly, Ellie, it's one of those things, whoever agrees to get in the ring with him. That's why we had a lot of respect for Gio, for Rubio, and now for Martin Murray. But, you know, that Gio fight, I think, you know, either Canelo or Cotto are huge names. Cotto's WBC middleweight champion, and those 2 seem to be the biggest names from the promotional side.
David, go ahead.
Gennady, how was Mexico City for you? What was it like?
I had a great time. It's a beautiful city, biggest city for me, you know, just great people, great atmosphere. It's very good. I'm very happy with Mexico City. A lot of attention for me, just I had a great time.
You take the subway?
Sometimes, yeah.
The last time I spoke with you in Vegas, I asked you of the Middle Eastern boxing history. On top of your list was Marvin Hagler. What about Marvin Hagler's fighting style that you like the most about him?
Or I respect Marvin. No, he's a great champion. I saw a lot of fights. I think his speed, his power is very important. His style is very important. His southpaw. He's a great champion. Like my idol. biggest names. Mark Javier, of course, I respect a lot of champions. Sugar Robinson, of course. Sugar Leon, just middle division. Oh, different styles and great champions. I respect them. Really.